Hello, good afternoon, every one of you. We are here today at the Prince of Wales building, where the Africa Diaspora History Library is located. Now, this building is very historical to the heritage of Alberta. But most importantly, today we're gathering here at the CIIC event, which is the Canadian Intercultural Integration Council, to have this most pressing conversation on unity in diversity. And what does that mean for our ever-growing Edmonton multicultural communities? One of the key topics that we're delving into today is collaboration. We cannot do it alone. We need the supports, not of just individuals, but of groups, of organizations, and community members who will work together in pushing the agenda of unity in diversity forward. Our focus is on supporting immigrant children, youth, and family to thrive in this community in Edmonton, in Canada. And how do we do that? By coming together under the umbrella of unity and diversity. Thank you.
My name is Miriam, and originally from Zambia, but I'm here, and I'm Canadian now. Well, this is an amazing, amazing event, and I just want to welcome you to this event, ladies and gentlemen, and all distinguished guests of this great community of Edmonton. It is an honor for me to be here and a privilege to stand before you as we gather to actually, talk about or listen to the community leaders and professionals and advocates who are going to be, giving us, their sharing their experiences of what unity in diversity means to them. And before I go any further, I just want to thank I want to read it. Canadian Intercultural Integration Council, CIIC. Very good name, right? Mm-hmm. Thank you guys, the board of board members and the CEO, Bridget. Thank you so much for this honor to invite me here. when I was given this task, I was wondering what I would actually talk about. And I was like, you know, my show is actually Tapestry with Maria. And tapestry just means that we bring people together, weave together, you know, different wools. Is it wool? Yeah. Those who knit, they know what I'm talking about. You buy, yeah, you buy, yeah, the weaving, yeah. So you can buy the red, you know, you want to do a sweater, you want to do something, or you want to do sweater with different colors and all that. That's, you know, you're putting things together, and that's tapestry, right? And I was thinking about, you know, the uniqueness of different things that we bring together as a people. And you look around the world right now is very diverse and very different and very complex, if you think about it, very complex. But what do we bring to be unique? What do we bring to this community, right? We bring our culture, we bring our languages, beliefs, and any other perspectives that we bring that make us who we are and that bound us together with the hopes, the dreams, and aspirations that we bring together. It is this shared humanity that serves us as the foundation of a community. Now, today, as we listen to these wonderful leaders and community advocates, we reaffirm our commitment to embrace what makes each one of us unique, while we are fostering, like the mission statement of that, fostering understanding, respect, and collaboration. We recognize that diversity is not a challenge to overcome, but a strength to celebrate. A force that drives innovation, enriches our communities, and deepens our compassion. Very important there. We need to have compassion for one another. As we embark on this gathering today, let us take this opportunity to listen to those who are going to be talking to us and sharing their experiences. Let us create a space to have a voice that is valued to every one of us, or valued in this community that we live, whether it's Canada or Edmonton or, you know, Alberta or anywhere else that you go, where bridges are built and where unity is not just an idea but a reality. And I think I really like how the CIIC is coming up with this, because diversity is a very complex thing, because of course we bring different things. But I just want to encourage you that let's address these challenges, celebrate the triumphs, and pave the way for a more inclusive future for generations to come. And I just want to thank you so much for this commitment to be here, because I think that the weather is very, very bad. And I think we just want to say thank you so much for coming to this. It's your commitment, it's your love for community, and of course the support that you're giving to CIIC, and also giving the support to yourself. It is self-support, because as a community, as a member of the community, we need to embrace togetherness and embrace this uniqueness that we have all the time. So again, thank you so much for coming, and let us move ahead with purpose and hope.
Home on native land. And so we acknowledge the Aboriginal people of this great land, the custodians and the original beneficiaries of this land. Their spirits are still with us. Every time we walk at the banks of the Saskatoon River, we remember their sacrifices. The topic we have gathered here to share is quite challenging and quite demanding at so many levels. The issue of two important words based upon this program that I have here with me. Two words: diversity and inclusion. And so every time you talk about minority issues anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, it seems to me the people who always lead the crusade are always people of African descent. And a rhetorical question will be, why do we lead the crusade when it comes to human rights? It is because I believe when people of African descent become free around the world, all oppressed people will be free. Oppressed people stand on the shoulders of black people. So I want to remind you that you are carrying the world on your shoulders. And this is why we have gathered here this morning to address the issue of diversity and inclusion. There are two words. The meaning is very similar. One is recognizing who is your brother. One is allowing you to define who is your brother, to help you to understand that you are out of many one people, and that you are not defined by the church you go to or your faith. And everybody thinks that way when it comes to people of African descent. The only people who have not recognized what keeps us together like the glue is our genetic makeup, the color black. So you know my brother because I go to church with you, no. Before the church, we were brothers. You know my brother because we were born in the same country, no. Before that, we were already a family. So what joins us together from the feet to the top of our head is our genetic makeup. So our brotherhood is deep. And why are we asking people to recognize diversity when diversity is our job, it's our role? And so black people have always looked at government to deal with the issue of diversity. Why we refuse to accept each other. So if you are not practicing something, why do you think one person is going to think you are all brothers? Because you are Pentecostal and I'm Catholic. You don't like that. You are evangelical and I'm 7 days. You don't like that. You go to Brother Johnson's church. I go to Brother Emmanuel's church. You don't like that. But the very essence of our being is overlooked. And yet you ask the government to be inclusive. Inclusiveness is an opportunity. Is to be allowed to function at the federal, provincial, or municipal level. So allow me to break this down to you. If there should be a space within the governmental agency, let's say at the federal level, a department needs 100 people. And there are 4 groups here, identifiable groups: Indians, Chinese, Europeans, and then Africans. Now, what does that mean? It means that each group should have 25% space, or 25 people. Right? So each group, Indian, Chinese, Europeans, and black people, each group will have 25 people. Now, when they fall short, that you have only 5% black people, then you have the question. And that's why inclusion is an issue the government has to deal with. After we have dealt with diversity, diversity is on us. But if we come together and recognize our connectedness, the government will surely open the door for you to occupy your space. Now, these are the issues that is not only here, but across the continent. And I'll give you 2 examples. One that I would like you to look at critically is the issue of the African Union. The African Union represents 54 countries. Ask me if they have a seat at the United Nations Security Council. You don't. Because the 54 countries, each country comes in there independently. They do not come as a unit and demand their 25%. So when you have larger countries in Africa, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Congo, all the big countries, and they compare themselves to Botswana, where is the brotherhood? So that is the first thing that we have to do: diversity. Unity in diversity, and that have nothing to do with the government of Alberta. That have much more to do with us. That we must begin to learn, to unlearn, and relearn. That unity is the only weapon we have. Because you are the only group in the whole world who do not have access to atomic bomb, cruise missile, submarine. We don't have any of this. Only thing you have. And atomic doesn't mean a power to destroy. Atomic is energy. The way atomic existed before the Western world created atomic bombs. Atomic is a power. It can be a spiritual power. So you will have a lot of power if only you can come together. And that's what is the beauty about this nation. That he expects every group to connect. So when there's a tragic event, the government will send supply to the black community, send supply to the Chinese community, send supply to the European community, to the Indian community. The government don't have to go in around 7 countries. So you have 54, the government can do that. It is your responsibility. And that's how government works. And this is also the reason why North America here have a better governmental system, because the community engages in community issues. And the only community issues we deal with in Africa is church. But the people come from the community before they came to the church. Church don't have babies, the community does. So what I will ask you today, as you continue to stay here, or when you leave to your respective homes, to bear in mind that you have a responsibility to make sure that we are inextricably woven together as a single tapestry. And therefore, when you touch one person, you touch us all. And that is the very essence of my country's Intercultural. It means that we are inextricably woven together as a single tapestry, so that one thread is not one person. When you pull that thread, the entire piece of Intercultural will come apart. That's who we are as Africans. And that's the reason why your land is called Mother Africa. Out of the 5 or 7 continents in the world, remember, only one continent is called Mama. It means out of her came everybody else. If you don't believe me, the genetic trait called the Eve gene has been identified as a black woman. Do I need to tell you more to make my case? That your unity is your personal responsibility and not the government. The government have given you the space. Like this place we are here today. There's libraries, you can go there and talk about how do we come together as a people. So if you go to the United Nations as an individual, you're thinking of what will benefit you. What about your brother? I love the statement from my email. And somebody may ask me, what is your email? Go ahead. My email address is my brother's keeper now. My brother's keeper now. And remember, much of the struggle to succeed is the wickedness of a person who look like you. So don't talk to me about the other people stopping your progress. It's you. If somebody doesn't like how you are progressing, you got a heart, a pumpy heart. You are expressing it, they don't like it. Guess who don't like it? It's somebody who looks like you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. So I'm saying to you that if there is a place called heaven, we must go together as a family. But don't invite me to anywhere with so much bickering, hatred, and so on and so forth. I don't want to go there. Even if it is in heaven, I'm not going. I would rather dance with the devil who give me a kiss on the cheeks. Do you hear me? So live here today at this particular event that as an African, as a Canadian, I have a responsibility to build a strong communities for my people.
Today, I'm going to share a little bit about my thoughts around bridging the gaps, strategies for building inclusive integration. Let me start with this story. Picture this. I was at the airport. My wife was on my right hand. My 2 kids were sleeping, and I was the only person that was awake. And this was, we were waiting for our layover to be over. We had an 8 hours layover. As everybody looked around, everyone was calm, everyone was amazed, everyone was settled. My heart was beating, was pounding, because I know that I still have some few minutes or just a window of opportunity to reverse the most challenging decisions I've ever taken. You see, one day I woke up and I decided that I'm going to drag, uproot everything I have, put everything inside the bag, and take them across the world. And when I got to the Amsterdam airport, my heart was telling me, you can still go back. You can still go back. But we braved it, entered the plane, the door was shut, our fate was sealed. And then as the plane took off, we were landing into Edmonton, we heard it is snowing for the first time, and this was September. And my thought was, what other sign can you ask for? Because you are coming into the thick of the snow, September. And then we came in here. For people who were widely traveled, for education, leisure, and for business, we thought it was going to be a walk in the park, right? What can go wrong? But very quickly, we understood there's a difference between going on vacation and coming to relocate. Two different words. When you go on vacation, what happens? You stay in your hotel room, right? You go and see the sights, you go and enjoy the food, and you go and enjoy the city. The problem is you don't stay long enough for you to begin to see things that happen in the city, for you to begin to see what goes on there. It was years after I understood that there are 4 stages of acculturation. At the first stage is the honeymoon stage. When you come in, everything looks amazing, correct? Who remembers that experience? The light was on. If you are from, like me, from Nigeria, you don't have to time yourself to iron your clothes. The roads were cleared, it's snowing today, and all of a sudden, before you come in, the trucks are doing their work. Everything worked. First 3 months, that's the honeymoon stage. If you stay long enough, that stage will quickly clear off your mind. And then after the 3rd month, when all the resumes we sent out for employment came back, declined. And then you're looking at your bank account. It's going. And I had 3 boys who did not believe in social distancing from my fridge. They told me clearly they were on holidays. So as they were eating and going out and having all the merry, we were taking all the pictures in the mall, my mind was going, who knows how long this money will last. Now, it's not just my experience. It's the experience of everyone here, in one form or the other. You will have gone through this. But we are still here. Which tells me that you're a very resilient person, because many of us have our stories. Many of us move from heights like this to come here, and then you hear about transition job, you hear about putting food on the table, you hear about steps, a foot in the door. All just so that you can survive. But you have survived. The next step in the whole resiliency spectrum is when you survive, the next thing you do is to thrive. Can you put that down somewhere? If you survive now, it's time for you to thrive. And we've realized that we can't do well as individuals. The librarian chief, our elder brother who spoke today, talked to us about the need for us to be brothers, to look at ourselves as brothers. You can't survive alone. You can't deal with this alone. You can only do well in Canada if you're in community. If there's anything that we can take out from that speech today, is the fact that you can only survive here if you're a member of a community. Yeah. If you're not a member of a community, if you are not thriving in a community, you will not thrive alone. It's a matter of time. And I'll give you so many examples from what we know in the community, which is some guys come in here and they just don't understand why you leave your house, get involved, do things, support each other, and they say, why do I need the Liberian community? Why do I need the Canadian, the Igbo community? Why do I need the African community? And then one day you see the same person sending out a message for GoFundMe. Then they now begin to realize there's a limit to you calling 911 and what 911 can do. They now realize that on the days when the chips are down, you need everybody around you to say, yeah, you are going through a lot now, but it's going to get better. That's why we build communities. That's why we invest in the community. That's why we want every hand on deck. Make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, so when we talk about community and when we talk about coming in here, we realize one thing, that the integration process in Canada differs from person to person. So as all of us here, we have our different stories about integration, right? Some people come in and they move parallel. So for example, you are working in academia and you got a job in academia almost parallel to what you are doing. That's probably 1% of all of us. Some people come in, they have to start from here and then go down and then they build up. That's probably some of our stories. But what is important is that your integration experience differs from person to person, differs from nationality to nationality, and differs from race to race. The person who migrates from Norway will not have the same integration experience in Canada like the person who migrates from Ghana. True or false? Make sense? So what is important is that whereas all of us are integrating and we're coming in together, there are different experiences. And those experiences call forth certain strengths in us. And that strength is for us to know that you have a responsibility. That responsibility is for you to make life easier for those who are coming behind you. I was just talking to our host today, one of our hosts, and I said to him, when people come in here and they get 150,000 job, 200,000 job, they think it's because they're so smart. People from our community, people from the black community, they think that because they're so smart. And I said to them, no, you're not smart that people trust you enough for responsibilities in this land. It is because of the work done by people behind us. People whose names we never see, whose faces we never know. Once upon a time, there was a time here where people see a black person outside and they're touching their skin to confirm whether they're normal, whether they're humans. There were times here where people will not give, it doesn't matter what degrees you have, people will not give you the opportunity to express leadership in the workplace. But there are people who broke through those ranks. The problem is, if you don't pay tribute to those guys who have gone forward, the work you are doing now, the future, the people who are coming forward in the future will not understand what it takes you to break down what you are going through right now. So we must honor the work of those who have come before us. You don't know where you're headed to, guys, if you don't know where you're coming from. Okay? You need to put that in perspective. So whatever it is, the opportunities that you have today, there are people who have helped in the past. So that puts that responsibility on us. Not just to strive, but also to make sure that those who are coming behind us have life easier here. And how do we do that?